This is The Space Shot, episode 85 for August 7th, 2017. Apollo 15 splashes down, and Discovery. Hey everyone, welcome to The Space Shot, your daily space history, pop culture, and news fix. I'm John Molnix. Today's episode is a little bit shorter because I'm working on a bunch of other content for later this week and for the rest of the month, because I've got some really exciting things coming up here soon. On August 7th, 1971, the command module Endeavour splashed down in the Pacific Ocean after a successful mission to the moon. The Apollo 15 command module experienced a failure of one of its three main parachutes, but it was still able to land safely because the capsule was designed to operate on just two parachutes if the need arose. The Apollo 15 mission was the subject of a scandal involving unauthorized stamp covers being carried on the mission, which were going to be sold to a private collector at the conclusion of the flight. Astronauts David Scott, Al Worden, and James Irwin were all reprimanded for the incident and never flew in space again.
I'm glad to be joined by my Science and Technology Advisor, Dr. Jack Gibbons, to make a few comments about today's announcement by NASA. This is the product of years of exploration and months of intensive study by some of the world's most distinguished scientists. Like all discoveries, this one will and should continue to be reviewed, examined, and scrutinized. It must be confirmed by other scientists. But clearly, the fact that something of this magnitude is being explored is another vindication of America's space program and our continuing support for it, even in these tough financial times. I am determined that the American space program will put its full intellectual power and technological prowess behind the search for further evidence of life on Mars. First, I have asked Administrator Golden to ensure that this finding is subject to a methodical process of further peer review and validation.
On August 7th, 1996, NASA announced, and President Clinton spoke about, the possible discovery of fossilized life on Mars. The evidence never panned out conclusively, but it was a major turning point for the field of astrobiology. In the show notes, I'm linking to an article on NASA's astrobiology program and its three, quote, fundamental questions. How does life begin and evolve? Is there life beyond Earth, and if so, how can we detect it? And what is the future of life on Earth and in the universe? Lastly, for today, the Space Shuttle Discovery launched from Kennedy Space Center and began the STS-85 mission. This shuttle flight deployed numerous scientific experiments and tested a Japanese-made robotic arm manipulator. This robotic arm was a demonstrator for the one that would later be installed on the Japanese experiment module, nicknamed Kibo, on the International Space Station. Check out the show notes for more information on today's episode, and be sure to connect with me on Instagram and Twitter. Find me at John Molnix. I'd love to chat. Let me know what you think of the show by leaving a rating in iTunes. It takes just a minute, and it makes a huge difference because it helps even more people find the show. Tomorrow, the Pioneer Venus Multiprobe, and Venus and pop culture. I'm John Molnix, and I'll catch you on the flip side.